What's up everybody, it's your Daddy X here. Aesthetics mean everything to me. What you play should represent who you are. And if you want to go a little further, it should look like how you are. Guys, today I am taking my regular black Game Boy Advance and making it a Goth Game Boy Advance. Everything black and everything beautiful. Let's get started.
Member of the Information Society. That's a difficult question because I didn't know we were in the Information Society.
Alright guys, so what we have here is a very nice, I'm going to be super honest, for something I found at Goodwill for $10, a very nice Game Boy Advance. So a couple little things. To make this thing goth, we just got to black it out. The goth theme is just really nice. I think it's going to go well with the shell. The shell's in good condition. We need black buttons. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see the back, like how good condition it is. It still has the barcode on the back. Still has the Game Boy sticker there. Even the Game Boy sticker on the battery cover. And it's just really making buttons black. Start and select buttons black. Sidebars black. I was surprised to know that it actually had batteries in there. I put a game in there. Sound works fine. There's not a lot of wrong with it. I don't know if you could see on the screen, there are two big digs that are in there, and we have to get rid of those. So giving you a heads up, anytime you get a Game Boy Advance, an original Game Boy Advance, the screen is actually made of plastic. That's a little piece of plastic they put there. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna replace the plastic with an actual glass piece. It's gonna make our life a lot easier. If you're putting it into your backpack or something like that, it's not going to scratch. You can clean it with actual Windex. If you use Windex, the ammonia will actually start to eat up some of the plastic. The upper left button right there is stiff. Left and right on the directional pad is stiff. A button works fine. Everything's working fine so far. And you can see really those little digs that are in the screen right there. B button works fine. So we're gonna take that screen off. That's irking me so much right now. So let me turn this off, and we're just gonna get to work to it. And of course, yeah, I mean, if we're going goth theme, make it goth, right? Castlevania. Double pack, definitely a good pickup. I'm gonna take the battery cover off, and I want to show you what I actually got to take this apart. You just need two tools. You're gonna need two screwdrivers. These actually came with the buttons that I got for this. One is a tri-wing screwdriver. Some people call it a Y screwdriver. There's the black buttons right there. Everything's black. So this should just like really fit in once we take it apart. They're pretty good quality. The other screwdriver, sorry about that. The other screwdriver is a Phillips screwdriver. The Phillips screwdriver you'll usually use on this on the inside of the Game Boy. The Y or the tri-wing you'll use on the outside, and Nintendo's pretty infamous for using that on everything they got. So we're gonna take out the batteries, and then there's 6 tri-wing screws that we need to take out, and we need to take those out. They're right on the back. So if you ever see a Game Boy that doesn't have those tri-wings on the back at all whatsoever, that means someone dismantled it. So just be aware of that. Alright guys, there's one thing I forgot to mention, and it's pretty important. There's a Phillips screw that is in where the battery cover is at, and if you don't take that out, you can't take this apart. So we're now done. Everything should just pull right off very nicely, and there we go. So let's inspect this real quick. Your insides look clean. Except right here on these edges. Those parts always get dirty, the edges of these things. They've been together for so long, they've never been cleaned, so we're gonna have to clean that. The top little buttons right here, we're gonna take these off. They should just slide out. Be careful with the little metal prong right there. That's what actually gives it that spring action that when you press it down, it comes back at you. So those are out. Our sides are off. We're not gonna use any of these, but something I may recommend to you that if you're like swapping out buttons and stuff like that, keep the best ones that you have, clean everything else up, because you may find another Game Boy Advance that you want to restore or just use a couple parts of. So this part, the motherboard and the screen actually coming off of the actual Game Boy is a little different. So there's a couple screws we gotta take out real quick, and then you have the ribbon cable. Please, please, please be careful with the ribbon cable. From that should separate the motherboard and the screen from this. All right, so this is the important part. There's these two little pins here on the ribbon clip, and all you do is you just gotta push them up, but please, 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 and I'm trying to get this as clear as I can for you here in the screen. You push them up, be very gentle when you push them up. You don't want them to pop out, and this should allow you to, one, either loosen the ribbon cable or pull it out. I'm having a little trouble here, but if you pull up the motherboard, because now we have it where it's not bolted in, they'll just come out just like this. Wiggle, and you're clear. You're clear. So the motherboard is by itself, and we're gonna inspect it real quick. Everything, this is always my favorite. Okay, so you see the start and select button? That's what they are right there. These things are known as the membranes. So if you're ever ordering them online, they're called membranes. Some people call them sponges, but they're usually known as membranes. So this is how you know how dirty your motherboard is. If you notice how it was just sticking to it, they're not supposed to stick to the motherboard, but we're gonna clean this off. And all you're gonna take is like Q-tip. I have the A and B buttons, same thing here. It's never been taken apart. It's very clear that it hasn't been taken apart. To clean this, it's Q-tip, isopropyl alcohol, 99% or 91%, whatever you want, and just rub over everything. Speaker looks fine, everything on it looks fine, but take your time and give it a cleaning no matter what. It's just gonna make life easy for you. So going into everything else, there's a couple things, very small things, and this is like the very, very first small one that I'm trying to get out here. First, I'm gonna take out the buttons. We're not gonna use these anymore, but they're pretty damaged too. Yeah, we're probably gonna toss those. Here's the next membrane, which is actually for the directional pad. The directional pad actually fits in that membrane, which is okay. So if you see that, that's normal. A good scrubbing, and that can actually be saved for later. Start button is, the on and off button is already out, as you can see in the upper right hand corner. This little plastic piece, do not lose this little plastic piece. If you lose it, it's not gonna affect anything, but it's something that's it's transparent. So you may actually lose it in throwing away the case, or washing it may go down the sink. So just keep it aside and make sure you know you have it there. Now, last thing we have to do is really, yeah, it's gross in there. You can see how gross that is in there. Oh, we're gonna have to clean this, and that shouldn't be too bad. But the big thing is after it's gross. Do you see how it's like rust that's in there? I'm trying to tap it out right now, upper corner. Okay. All you have to do to get the screen out is twist. So if you can twist it until you feel comfortable that'll pop out, do so. You gotta get a finger underneath there or a small screwdriver. Just be careful and it'll come out. All right, last step. Remember me telling you about how the glass has scratches on it and dings in there, and it's plastic? So yeah, look at that. You can't repair this. This isn't something you scrape out, and it's not on the inside. It's actually on the outside. So what you're gonna do is just straight push it out. All right, so we are like halfway there now. A fully disassembled Game Boy Advance. This is literally every single part that comes into this. I'm just gonna take off this little cartridge shield right here. It's 2 Phillips screwdrivers. But all that's left really to do is clean the motherboard and start slapping this thing together. So now that the motherboard's clean, it's a very, very, very simple process. All we have to do is put everything back together the way we took it apart. It's really that simple. And we're just gonna be inserting black buttons. Everything's clean. I've washed the shell pretty good. And I'm just gonna speed all this up for you guys because it's pretty simple from there. So enjoy. And there we go. Nice clean glass, not a scratch on it. Our buttons are in. Ladies and gentlemen, we're pretty much done. Let's just test it out. I'm gonna put the Castlevania cartridge back in here, and everything is looking slick. Comes on, we got sound. Oh, this is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. You can see the shine on the lens, like with the light right there. It's very clean. Now, we're just gonna test out the buttons after you put it in. Sometimes if you don't push the buttons in, you may have not installed it correctly, but it should work pretty good. Just wipe off the screen a bit. It's clean, guys. You have a working Game Boy Advance. Sick. All blacked out. Your Goth edition. I'm keeping this one. I am so keeping this one. This is absolutely beautiful. Guys, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, guys, whatever you can take apart, you can put back together. So don't be scared to try something like this at home. I'll see you guys next time.